Hi, I'm Lisa Curcio, and I would love to welcome you here to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Today, I'm going to teach you the easy way to make a fancy fold Christmas card. And the best thing about this fold, beside it being easy, is that you can use it for multiple things. I've got lots of variations to share with you tonight during tonight's YouTube premiere. Now, if this is your first time joining us, I'd love to welcome you here to my channel. If you're not already a subscriber, I hope you will do so. Make sure you also click that thumbs up button here on YouTube, which is a like. It helps me immensely. During tonight's premiere, I'm going to be sharing a project sheet for you. It is free. It's going to be linked down in the video description below. That's going to lead you to the pictures, the cutting dimensions, and the supplies for all the cards I'm going to share with you this evening. Now, if you're here with us for the premiere in the live chat, we want to interact with you. So be sure that you log into your YouTube account, which uses your Gmail address. Gina and I are both here in the live chat right now to be able to answer your questions live. Now, if you're not sure who Gina is, you'll see that name in blue off to the side, Gina Curcio Hawley. Gina is my daughter. She works with me here at Lisa's Stamp Studio and an avid stamper. So we're both here to be able to answer those questions for you. Now, before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to our YouTube channel members. Our YouTube channel members are designated with a small crown icon in front of their name, and they support us here in our YouTube channel for just 99 cents a month. You might be wondering what they get in addition to that adorable badge. They also get longevity badges, so the little jewels on that crown will change over time. In addition to that, they get custom emojis, which you'll see here in the live chat or in the comments. And they also get the opportunity to purchase exclusive merchandise. This is all part of my YouTube membership program. And if you're interested, we would love to have you join us. Click the join button here on my YouTube channel for a very short video introduction, and we'll be able to add you to the membership program. All right, we're ready. Let's get started. This fancy fold Christmas card is going to be comprised of two pieces. The first piece is what I'm calling the base, 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to do a couple simple score lines. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, which I absolutely love. It includes both the scoring and the cutting blade. They stay on the clear track at the same time, and they navigate up and down out of the way, so you can keep them on there. This trimmer has an extendable arm as well. The first score line is going to be at 3 1/2 inches. So I'm going to use that straight ledge here at the top of the trimmer. There's also one at the bottom to keep that cardstock nice and straight, and we're going to score. The next one's going to be at 9 inches. So we'll open up that arm and we're going to come all the way across here, keeping that cardstock nice and straight. So that's it for this first piece. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to go over those score lines just to reinforce them. These two pieces should meet towards the center if you have scored correctly. I've cut 2 pieces of designer series paper for these 2 pieces here. I love the Stampin' Up! Designer series papers are double-sided, giving you lots and lots of options. Now, these obviously could have gone on just like this, but I decided to spruce this up a little bit. And this is when I brought in the oxidized copper paper. Now, this is a specialty paper, as you can see, because of the foil finish, so it is not double-sided. It's great for die cutting as well as for layers. So I'm going to go ahead and use my silicone craft sheet for this. I'm going to flip this upside down to what will be my wrong side, and I'm using my beloved glue press from My Sweet Petunia. You'll find this product linked for you on my website under Shop Craft Room Favorites. I love that it's easy for me to use with arthritic hands, and I absolutely love the fact that it comes out nice and thin. And then this one is going to get layered here. We're going to start here with this piece, and we're going to add more liquid glue to the back side. Now, I fill my precision glue press with the multi-purpose liquid glue. It's sold in my online store, and I love it because it's strong and it dries very, very quickly. And you're going to see I'm going to leave that very narrow margin around the cardstock. Next is going to be the bottom portion, and we're going to use this once again. Now, if you're skeptical about the little trigger that I'm pulling on that's pink here at the bottom, wondering whether or not that's difficult for arthritic hands, it's absolutely not. I have trouble squeezing because of the arthritis in my hands, and that has been a game changer for me. It allows me to very lightly pull it and be able to dispense it. The other thing I love about it is it has a pink plunger or stopper here at the bottom. You'll see that the needle tip comes into contact with it, which keeps it from drying out and clogging. So it sits straight up on your work surface. Obviously, I wanted to provide some decoration for here, and there's lots of things that you can do, but I found by creating a base to build upon worked really well for the opening and closure of this fancy fold Christmas card. Now, before you join me, I went ahead and I did this next step, and I die cut myself from white cardstock, the second to the largest of the Countryside Corners dies. And I love these because there's graduated sizes, which makes layering a breeze. But because I knew I wanted designer series paper to be the initial layer, I made two pieces the same size because I knew the designer series paper itself would not be strong enough to withhold the opening and closing. So all I'm going to do is flip this over and we're going to add some more glue to the back. This paper is also from Iconic Celebrations. And then this we're going to mirror on top of here. If you ever have trouble, and I do too, of trying to get these layers perfect, put a contrasting color to your paper underneath that cardstock. And that's going to allow you to line it up just about perfectly. I'm going to put this off to the side and let's work on our image next. Christmas trees are never going to go out of style, and the decorative trees bundle is one of my favorites, and I'm going to show you why. In addition to dies that die cut these images that you see here, there's an abundance of other size decorative trees. This die here on the outline actually die cuts this, or as well in my case today, is actually going to die cut just a solid tree. And then I also die cut one using the dotted pattern from the dies. Now the intention here is to put these two together. And again, I'm going to put a contrasting color underneath my paper, which is going to make it easy for me. I'm going to be using my reversible tweezers for this. Love this because it's kind of like my third hand. And because the liquid glue here can come out so tiny in this brush, look how little I'm pressing. I can get tiny dots all around the edges where I'm going to need to tack this down. I'm trying to avoid the open circles just so it doesn't ooze through the metallic paper on the front. Once I have my glue down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to mimic this using those tweezers kind of as a way to maneuver the paper to get it where I want it. And then we'll push those down just to keep them in place. As part of the dies, there are these little tiny pieces for the trunk if you want to add them. And because we've got these little tweezers, they're going to come in really, really handy. So I'm going to flip that upside down. And I'm going to add that little bit of glue right here at the bottom of that tree. That precision glue press is wonderful for this. And then we're going to go ahead and add that trunk. I'm building everything on top of the silicone craft sheet because liquid glue, hot glue, and adhesive will not stick to this. So I don't have to worry about marring or getting my work surface sticky. And then finally, I die cut a star from that same oxidized copper paper. Now these dies are all part of the same die set. Again, using those reversible tweezers because they're going to extend my reach for these small pieces. I'm going to add the star here to the top of the tree. By creating this one piece first on the silicone craft sheet, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to now add the pieces to that die cut label. This is the label that we originally attached the two pieces to. And let's go ahead and add the tree. Now I do want the tree elevated, so I'm going to turn it upside down. And for this, I'm going to be using my dimensionals. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to help me lift some of those off. That paper piercing tool attachment has been added. It does come with the Take Your Pick tool, and I love it for these little jobs. I'm going to go ahead and navigate these to the top. You're going to notice that these are going to be too big for this. So I'm going to bring in the mini dimensionals that are pre-cut pieces of foam tape. Love the shape. Now, if you are concerned about balance for mailing, I always am as well. I know that my cards are going to go through the mail meter at the post office, so I'm very, very careful to make sure that this is well balanced for mailing. I'm going to make sure too I've got one here near the bottom. I also want to make sure that whoever takes this in and out of the envelope, that these little cornered pieces here where the branches are not going to get stuck on the envelope. Once the pieces have been removed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center this here in the middle of this label. I wanted to do a greeting next, and I want to show you something really interesting I was able to do with the stamps and some dies. From the same stamp set, I pulled out a greeting that I wanted to use that was long and narrow. And keeping with the consistency of the colors, I'm using pecan pie ink for the greeting. Now, the beauty of Stampin' Up! Products is the color coordination, which means the ink is going to coordinate with the cardstock and the accessories and so on. Makes designing so nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and we're going to ink this up, and then we're going to stamp that here. The decorative trees dies did not include a label die for this. So I went back to my artillery, and this is one I have used quite a bit in my recent videos. It's called Greetings of the Season. And all of these are tags or label dies. And I wanted to use this one, but you're going to notice when I pull it out that it's going to be a little larger than what I need to use it for. But I want to give you a great tip. I'm going to maneuver this where I'm going to want it. So you can see that it's too long. I'm going to navigate this so that the one end is a little bit shorter where I want it. This is where my Post-it labeling and cover-up tape is going to come into play. I absolutely love this product. I can tear it and make it smaller, and I'm looking just to try to center this to leave a small area here on the right side. Once I have it where I want it, I'm going to tack it down across the die, across the tape. Now I know there's a lot of room on that side, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. Now that I know this is secure, I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine, and you'll see how it's cut all the way through. I'm going to carefully remove that tape because I can use this numerous times without throwing it away, which is another cost-saving tip. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place it right here on top of that cartridge. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to navigate the die again so that I can have this end match this end. Watch what we're going to do. We're going to take the end without the hole for the tag and we're going to turn it around. Now you might be thinking that this is impossible, and I promise you it's not. There has been a small ridge, which is virtually impossible to see on camera, around the outside of almost all die cuts. When you rest this on here, it literally locks itself in place, and then all you have to do is shift it left and right to get the sizing of the die that you want. So you can see here that this is pretty symmetrical now on both sides. We're going to use that tape once again. We're going over the paper and over the die to hold it in place, and I'm going to run this back through the die cutting machine. You're going to see when I die cut it, it's now cut off the end that had the tag hole, and now you're going to see that I have a perfect size label for the appropriate greeting I want to use. We're going to come back here to the image, and I'm going to flip this upside down. And I want dimensionals, and I know that the large ones are probably going to be too big, so let's go over to the mini dimensionals. I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to place one here and then one close to it on either side. Now keep in mind that the elevation of this tree has already been lifted. So when the label for the words comes across this area here, it's going to dip if I don't build up the ends. So I'm going to stack one here and another here, but we're going to take off the paper backings to these two, and we are going to double stack these. That's going to compensate for the elevation difference once it goes across the edges of the tree. And now I'll just go ahead and now remove the rest of the paper backings. With the paper backings removed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to navigate this now where I want it. And I'm going to choose the center. That now has allowed me the elevation here across the center to all be nice and even. And of course, that's really important for mailing. I could have attached this directly to here, but I thought I wanted to ump it up just a little bit. And that's when I decided to put in a banner. I cut a piece of the pecan pie cardstock and I wanted to add a little texture to it. And I used the Fern 3D embossing folder. Because I knew this piece was very, very small, I would have the appearance of the branches without it actually looking like a fern, which would work nicely behind here. Now to create a banner tip, I want to give you a couple tips. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to visually find the center of the cardstock and I'm going to make a snip. The deeper the snip is, the deeper the banner tips will be or more pointy they will be. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come from the outside to the top of that slit and you're going to cut. And that's going to leave you this. You can either flip it over and do it on this side again or cut from the other direction, whatever is easiest for your hand. The tip here is to make the slit first so that you'll have a perfect banner tip every single time. Coming back here to the silicone craft sheet, I'm going to flip that label over and I'm going to add some glue right here down the center where that banner is going to rest. I'm going to leave a little bit of exposure at the top, which will leave a little exposure at the bottom. And you're going to see that I'm centering it in between the frame of this label. You can adhere this straight down if you choose, but I love dimensionals because they give it that real professional appearance. I am very careful to make sure that these are well balanced for mailing. I also want to make sure that we don't put them too far down because we don't want to seal this flap. Once we have them where we want them, we can go ahead and remove those paper backings. With the card base closed, I'm going to center the top of the banner to the top of the designer series paper, centering it the best that I can, and once I'm happy, we're just going to tack that down. When you open this, you should see no dimensionals or adhesive from this end, which will leave the bottom free. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a pocket here. Now this card is fantastic because we're going to be able to use it for several different things. Because we don't want to impede on the opening here, the easiest way to do this is to use glue dots. Now you can go ahead and put your paper right here in the corner if you'd like. So I'm taking the inside corner right to the glue dot here. That's going to lift it and place it right here on my paper. If that's too cumbersome for you, you can use take your pick tool, and then you can go ahead and place that right inside the corner of the cardstock. Once those are in place now, all you're going to do is you're going to fold that pocket up and it's going to seal it shut. The beautiful thing about this now is that this area is still free. Now let's work on the fancy fold insert for this easy Christmas card. In your project sheet, I refer to this piece of pecan pie cardstock as the pop-up insert. We're going to do a couple simple score lines once again using that light blade. This is 3.5 by 7.25. The first one is going to be at 1/2 inch. Now, this paper trimmer is amazing for lots of reasons, but there are also some dimensions here to the right as well as to the left. If you're like me and like to have a lot more to hold, to do those smaller dimensions like the 1/2 inch, you absolutely can. So you could line it up on this side at the 1/2 inch, close it and score, and then flip to do the remaining dimensions. In this case, because I know some of you are new, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line this up at the 1/2 inch here, making sure it's nice and straight, and then we're going to score. We're going to move this over now to 5 3/8 inch here, nice and straight, and then we are going to score. We're going to come in with the bone folder once again, check those ends, make sure that they're nice and straight. This part is going to be really important. This 1/2 inch area here where the score line is, this is going to go backwards. So you're going to see it kind of makes like a Z, and then reinforce it with your bone folder. This is going to lay flat, but we need that crease to be broken down for the next step. Just like before, I wanted some continuity, so I'm going to do some layers here for the inside of this area. This is the exact same designer series paper, Iconic Celebrations, as we've used on the front. That package of designer paper is extremely abundant, and you can see here on this opposite side that this pattern can be used all year round, even after the holidays are over. I absolutely love that Stampin' Up! Themes one side and leaves the other generic so that it can be used more abundantly. This now we're going to add a little bit more liquid glue to. That now is going to go here on the center section between the 1/2 inch score line and the bottom, and I'm looking to center it the best that I can. This is going to become a pocket. So we're going to need 2 additional glue dots here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel those back. I'll use my Take Your Pick tool to help me lift those. And again, you can actually press the corner right onto the glue dot if you desire, like so. Just make sure you're working in the corner. You want these as far apart as they possibly can be. The next step was obviously to decorate that pocket. And I love the consistency of a card. So we've got coordination from the outside to the inside. We'll adhere this now to another layer of the oxidized copper paper. And you guessed it, this is going to get attached here to the front of the pocket using a little bit more of that liquid glue. I love liquid glue for these types of things because I'm able to get into the corners easily, and it gives me a little bit of shimmy time as I'm adhering it. None of us cuts and scores perfectly, so using a little bit of liquid glue actually gives you a little bit of forgiveness. This 1/2 inch area here at the top should be completely bare. We're going to come back here to the card base, and you'll remember that the top is going to open and the bottom is now a pocket. I want you to take this pocket and I want you to slide it down inside of this one. What I want you to do before you go too far is I want you to look a little bit on this side and this side to see if they're as equal as possible, and if not, you can shimmy them over just a little bit. Now you can use liquid glue here, but for this, I want it to be extremely strong. So I'm going to be using the Stampin' Seal Plus. This is not a forgiving adhesive. So when it's down, it's down. I'm going to put this now in that 1/2 inch area here at the top. And then all you're going to do is make sure that this doesn't go past that crease, and then simply close the top of the card and give it a good press. Like I said, that adhesive is very, very strong. Now when it opens, I want you to watch. It's going to pull that 1/2 inch area, which is going to allow this to slide. Now that pocket is great for lots of things, but in my case, I made a little note card that's going to go inside my pocket. I have all the measurements for you in the project sheet. I use Mossy Meadow ink, which coordinates with the Mossy Meadow here in my Designer Series paper, and that's going to fit perfectly in the pocket. But I've got some other ideas for you for this card as well, and the additional samples I'm going to share with you now. The next card is using the Snowy Wonder Bundle, so the stamps and coordinating dies. And you'll notice these images here, they're going to make adorable snow globes for this card. This has coordinating Designer Series paper, and some of the die cut images will die cut the Designer Series paper, which is going to allow you to make quick, fancy fold and fun fold Christmas cards this year. For the Designer Series paper here, I used the Nests of Winter here for the green. I thought it worked perfectly for a holiday card. You'll notice that when I did my snow globe, I actually die cut a small section once again for the layer of snow here where my penguin is situated. This is just fussy cut from the Designer Series paper. I just took my scissors and went right around it. These are all part of those Snowy Wonder dies, and I die cut those little mountains from Designer Series paper. You're going to notice the texture here in the background, and that uses a beautiful embossing folder called Snowflake Sky 3D. Look how dynamic that folder is. I did add a lot of Wink of Stella down in that snowy area. Doubt that's going to be picked up on camera too well. But when you open this one, I want you to watch how it's going to slide. This time, I've opted to use a label die here at the top to hold my sentiment. You might recognize that this came from here. This is still Greetings of the Seasons dies, the same die set I used for this. All I did was add a little bit of peppermint embellishments over that one hole, mimicked it to the other side to look purposeful, added in a gift card for this one. Now, obviously, you could put the note and the gift card in the same pocket if you choose. Let's talk about this. You can use a partial die cut of a circle die, or in my case, I keep all of my retired dies. This is a 1-inch circle punch. When you're going to be punching this, you're only going to be punching about half into the top of that pocket. Because there are double layers of cardstock here, the white and then the Poppy Parade and the Designer Series paper, I might recommend that you only punch a portion of it from the white part first, and then adhere these layers and then mimic that and punch the rest. Punches are not designed to go through 2 layers of cardstock, and you would hate to jam and, of course, defect your punch. So that's just a small tip for you. But another great option for this amazing little fancy fold card. Now I have one more for you. This one uses the Winterly Treetops Bundle stamps and coordinating dies. Really beautiful. By the way, these birds can be used all year round, and you can see that by the greetings that are in here because there's no Christmas greetings as part of this stamp set. So feel free to mix and match with other greetings that you have. Here is my card. That Designer Series paper did all the work for this card. It's simply die cut the Designer Series paper, kind of like what we talked about here. I did stamp this little sprig here, colored it in with alcohol-based Stampin' Blends markers. Was quick and easy. The Designer Series paper on this card is from Nests of Winter. Same package as this green striped. Very earthy, very, very simple. The greeting for this one comes from Peaceful Season, another one of my favorites this holiday season. And I went ahead and I stamped it directly on the Designer Series paper. That's a great tip for you when you've got those simpler papers to use. We're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this one up, and this one's even different yet. This one has the pocket for the gift card only. This one has an insert for your sentiment and, of course, room to write and sign. And, of course, you could sign here. All I did on this one, I'm going to pull it out so that you can see, is I cut away the area at the bottom that folded up to make this pocket. This is all represented for you inside your project sheet with the proper cutting dimensions. Super easy to create. So you have lots of variations on how you can use this fancy fold Christmas card. And of course, make it quite easy and yet quite impressive. As always, I'd love to know your favorites. Do me a favor right now, pop down in the comment and tell me which of those variations is your favorite card. Perhaps you love one stamp set over the other, or perhaps you're going to use yours for a gift card holder, maybe to hold a small photo, maybe to hold just an insert, or maybe you're going to eliminate the pocket altogether as I've showed you. Either way, you're not going to want to miss that free project sheet that is available for you now, right now in the video description. And if you love exclusive project ideas, I have you covered with Stamp Studio memberships. I design a brand new project every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And for those people in the membership, it comes right to their inbox. It is $5 a month. Level 1 includes multiple pictures, cutting dimensions, supplies, and step-by-step instructions. The best part is that the photos and the tutorials are not watermarked. So if you teach classes to others, you are welcome to distribute these. The only thing we ask that you don't do is sell them, of course. But if level 1 is not enough, there is also a level 2 for $10 a month. You get everything in level 1, but you also get a fun fold card tutorial once a month. In addition to that, you're going to get a discount in my PDF tutorial library, and you'll also be included in the random product prize patrol that I do for this level every single month. You'll find all the information over on my website in the red menu bar titled Memberships. Tomorrow is a huge day. Stampin' Up! Is going to unveil brand new online exclusive products, and you're not going to want to miss them. I've got some favorites I've been working with, and I can't wait to share those ideas with you in upcoming videos. So do me a favor and make sure that you're subscribed. If you want to be in the know on all the promotions as well as continue to be inspired, do me a favor, head over to my website at lisastampstudio.com. Scroll to the bottom and click and fill out that little form. That will fill you in and entitle you to be part of my free weekly e-newsletter. It is no frills, and I'd love to keep you informed. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so glad that you were here with me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.